We know every player in the Inazuma 11 Victory Road of Heroes beta, which means that it's time for me to announce my team. Which of the 48 characters have I selected, and is my team actually just really normie? This is when you're going to find out, and I want to know what you guys think of my team in the comments down below, so please let me know. Roast me, insult me, make me feel bad about my life. Why stop at insulting my team? Why don't you insult everything else about me? Go for it. This is your time to shine. Without further ado, let's dive straight in and take a look at this team. So as you can see, I'm rocking the 3-2-3-2 formation. Why exactly this formation? It was just the best way to fit in all the characters who I wanted to use. When you look at everyone in the beta, for me, the position that jumps out at being like the worst in terms of the quality of players in it, aside from goalkeeper, which is kind of dreadful, is the midfield. Hence why I kind of have a front five going on here. I only really have two midfielders because there's only really two I wanted to select for the team. And obviously on top of these 11, I do have 5 players on my bench, and basically one of each position with 2 forwards. Gotta have some backup for the front 5, but we'll get to them at the very end. So my first pick, my goalkeeper, is Dvalin. There are only 4 keepers to choose from. I was never gonna use Mark because ooh. Samga Khan is also a big ooh, and I'm not too keen on Darren, so I decided to go for Dvalin. I like his design, I think his moves are generally pretty cool, I love his whole attitude in the anime, but I'll be honest, a lot of this pick is down to choosing the best of a pretty mid bunch. So there's not too much explaining to do. And that means we can go straight to the defense. My first defender was actually chosen by you guys as a donation goal for the 8-hour charity live stream where we raised £3,000. And that is JP. Oh boy, I'm so happy about this pick that I get to use JP. My second defender is our second alias player. It's Zohan. Zohan? I don't know how you pronounce his name. So I'm going to go with Zohan because I think it sounds cool. I just think he has a really cool design. I like my defenders to feel like a bloody force. And this guy has that whole attitude, that mood, that atmosphere around him. I always want to have that defender who I picture just rugby tackling everyone. And to me, that is this fella. I also think the defender selection is quite weak. Generally, I'm just not that keen on the selection of characters for the beta, aside from when you get to the forwards. So I'm picking the best of a bunch I would never normally look at, which to be fair, I do kind of like. I like the fact I'm going for some picks that normally would go nowhere near my team, for instance Zohan, but who knows, maybe I'll fall in love with him across the beta. Speaking of a player who I love, my third and final defender is Aitor. Aitor is just generally a player I really like. And so again, looking at the crop of defenders, not a whole lot of them really stood out to me. Aitor was the one who immediately I went, yes, he's going in my team 100%. I think Hunter's Net is a really cool move. I really enjoy Aitor's design, and I love his whole thing in Go 1. I love the whole idea of, oh, is he evil? Is he? No, he's just a bit mischievous. He can go straight into my team. Moving on to the midfield double pivot. First up is Isa, our third Alias Academy player. And there's not a whole lot of reason behind this other than I just really like Isa's design. I've never used her before, and so absolutely goes straight into my team. Isa is always a player I've admired from afar, where I've gone, ooh, yeah, no, I do like that player, but I just don't have any room in my team. I've never scouted her before. So this is as good an opportunity as any to finally use her. And I have a similar sentiment for the other player in my midfield double pivot, and that's Caleb Stonewall. Caleb is a player I absolutely adore, but just have never really properly used before. I've maybe used him in 1 or 2 I2 playthroughs, but when it comes to any later games, he's just come nowhere near my team. So again, the beta, because of its incredibly restricted pool of players, gives me this opportunity to go, yeah, you know what, this is the time I'll use Caleb. I really hope he has that move from Orion, you know, the one with all the colored balls? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. All those colored balls? It's in like Circus something? Maximum Circus? I don't know, maybe that's it. Something like that. I want him to have that move. I'd love to use that move. And moving on to the almighty front 5. Let's go with, I guess, my left winger, and that is Neptune. You know what? I didn't realize how much I liked Neptune's design until I saw him watching the beta video again. Until I saw him over there, he's hiding on the bench, and I was like, oh, that design is sick. I can't tell if it's just the art that really makes this design pop, like the colors on the headband or something, but there's just something about this design that just really stood out to me. And then so I was like, yeah, sure, of course, he's got to go on the team. I could see him getting swapped with some other players as I play the game more, but just off the top of my head, yeah, I want him on the team. Ticks all the boxes. Underrated player who I've never used before, and I just think looks neat. I'm like Marge Simpson with that potato. I'm really excited about the next pick though. That is Heath Moore. I had a very hard rule that I had to have all the Ares Orion players in here, and I think there were only 3. There were only 3 that I spotted. If I missed one, I'm so sorry, but I think there's only 3. And Heath Moore absolutely had to make the starting 11. Not only is he one of my favorite Ares players anyway, and potentially even my favorite, but I mean, come on, just look at him. Just get an idea of how cool his moves are going to be. I love the idea of having him as my number 10 shadow striker attacking midfielder, where he can just kind of rule the game with his tactical mind. I love it. Everything about Heath Moore is awesome to me. So the idea of using him in my team, and also I feel like in my head, this man's going to be my captain. You know what I mean? If I can actually make him my captain, that would also be sick. This, to me, this guy he's the main character of my beta playthrough, if that makes any kind of sense. And next to him on the right is Tezcat. Talk about another player who I've admired from afar for so long. I've always kind of filed Tezcat under normie picks, and so I've always been like, nah, I don't want him on my team. My team's for the cool cats. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think Tezcat's just kind of neat. I love Black Ash. Come on, I've got to give Tezcat a go. And my front 2, the first one is Zell. I'm going to put Zell in the same category as Neptune of players whose design I didn't really realize I loved till I just sat down and watched the beta video again. Zell is a perfect example of a really simple design that just looks really, really cool. And I do think the art in this case really makes Zell pop. So maybe I'll regret this pick when I actually sit down to play the beta properly. And maybe Zell won't give me the firepower needed to be in that front 2. But just looking at him, I'm like, yeah, I want you as one of my strikers. Even if he isn't strong enough though, it should be made up for the fact that his strike partner is Elliot Ember. Again, I really wanted to use the Ares players, and I mean, look at this man. It's Elliot bloody Ember. He is fantastic. I love him in the anime. I've been looking forward for so long to use him. I have to. Give me Emperor Penguin number 2 plus Shark. So that is my starting 11. I'm curious what you guys think. Who would you change? If you could make one change to my starting 11, what would it be? Let me know down below. But without further ado, let's move on to the bench. I feel there should be a without further ado. Let's dive into this type counter in the top corner. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm saying those words a lot. But anyway, let's take a look at the bench, starting with my benched goalkeeper, Darren LeChance. Again, I'm picking the second best of a bad bunch. He's never going to see the field, I hope. I really hope. Not to say I don't like Darren, I just don't know if I like him enough to have him in my team. But it was between him and Sam Gokhan, and I mean, I'm never choosing Sam Gokhan. My other defender is Gokka. I just thought he looked funny. I just thought it was funny to have Gokka on my bench. There's no other reasoning to it. Come on, look at the man. Look at his hair, it's gorgeous. My backup midfielder is Aphrodite. Now Aphrodite's cool because going off the Hisatsus I expect him to have and the stats I expect him to have, I also imagine he'll fit nicely anywhere across the front 5, so that is a nice little perk. But I love anything Greek mythology related, and so Aphrodite's always been a favorite player of mine. The only reason I didn't have him in my starting 11 is because he's a player I've used quite a lot, and so I wanted to opt for players like Caleb Stonewall and Isa first and foremost. But you can bet Aphrodite's going to be making many appearances in my team. Zine is my next bench player, and I just really love Zine. Normally, obviously, you'd go for Xavier, but for me, Zine's design is even cooler. And I'm sure he'll provide the firepower necessary to be a good backup to Zell, or to potentially swap with Zell if need be. And if you've been listening closely, I'm sure it's no surprise who the last member of the bench is. It's Sunny Wright. I'm not a big Sunny Wright fan, but he is a brand new character, and I really want to use all the brand new characters and just get to see them. I don't like him particularly, so he didn't make the starting 11, but again, he's the kind of player you expect will be making a lot of appearances throughout. And there we have it, that's my 16. This is the team I intend to use in the majority of my Victory Road Heroes beta videos, though obviously it does take a while to unlock Alias, so it won't look like this straight off the bat. But I think this is a pretty decent selection given the limitations. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.